I mean, just to get the experience of it, that could happen. That could happen to us early in the season, here with just some of the storms that have been rolling through. So I think the passing was a little sloppy. There were kind of some what would normally be like some obvious catches for guys that went through hands on both sides, really some interceptions that we kind of missed opportunities. But, the challenge to the team was coming off a day off was, I think the last rack we had, we came off a break and kind of stumbled our way into practice and found our energy by the end. But I saw JC and Derek and Ashawn grab the defense together before the first drill, and really, I could tell they were challenging each other. We got to go now. The offense kind of had the same mentality, and from snap one to the end of the practice, the energy was great. Definitely wet, definitely sloppy from that part of it. But and then we had a good move the ball. The NFL officials are here, and we had a couple of pre-snap penalties that put us into some really difficult situations. We were like in a 2nd and 20 at one point, I think, and all of a sudden, big advantage for the defense. The third group goes up, play down the field, a pass interference that would have been an interception. And the offense all of a sudden gets a new set of downs and moves the field. So I just love having the officials, because some of the little things they may be getting away with at practice, we're getting called. And it's just heightening that awareness as we prepare to play our first preseason game.
Dave, from a logistical equipment standpoint, what changes did you make today to kind of account for all this?
I mean, outside of a couple of layers, I think guys just have to get comfortable. We have, rain gloves. We have weather gloves for the players. But I think, what I learned in Seattle is most of the time in Seattle, it's a light drizzle. On those days where it's a little wet, those gloves are great. When there's a lot of water, like today, they can be inhibiting a little bit. And so some of the guys will opt for just bare hand kind of playing. And then I think guys that, have a level of comfort catching the ball in the body, kind of cradling it that way, tend to find a way to the rain doesn't affect them as much. The true pure hands catching guys makes it more challenging, catching away from your body and, trying to trap a greased pig. And so I think, guys just kind of working through some of that.
Dave, the forecast for tomorrow is more of the same. Have you talked to Kevin at all about any contingency plans to minimize injury risk?
We're just going to practice. The field was great. So the turf itself, there wasn't a lot of slipping. Our grounds crew have done an amazing job just making sure that, it's draining properly and all that. So we'll go out there, we'll practice, and I think Kevin kind of expects that. He texted me this morning. He said, looks like rain for the next 37 days, so but it'll be good. The energy will be good. The competitive environment will bring, they won't even be thinking about the water. I promise you, it'll be about this opportunity to go against other pros. So we're excited about that.
Padded? Will it be padded?
Yes, it'll be a padded practice. We've been going back and forth. We'll have an opportunity for some of our leadership on both sides to talk to each other about, kind of like the rules of engagement and what we're expecting. We're expecting the physicality of it. We don't want people laying out and making wrap tackles. It's very similar to what we did at FanFest. And so, Kevin and I are on the same page that way. But we definitely want to get the physical, high intensity nature out of it.
When you say leadership will talk to each other, when you say leadership will talk to each other, is that players or?
Yeah. Well, actually, Kevin and I have been talking, going back and forth. But I think it's going to be important for the players to also kind of talk to each other about the expectation of what it's going to be.
When a guy doesn't get flustered by the conditions and has like a performance today like Lathan Ransom does, where he gets the pick and does a bunch of stuff, does that kind of say anything about the player to you or kind of?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think focus is a skill. I think focus is something you can work on. Refocus is the greater challenge. Anyone can go out for that first play on a drive and be really focused, but it's play 8, play 10 when you're tired, when the environment's, when it's really hot, when it's wet, when it's cold, and when you have the ability to just focus on your assignment and don't let all the external factors affect it, then, that's a great sign.
Brought up Ashawn from a leadership standpoint. I know Derek and JC kind of are the face of the defense, but how has Ashawn been as a leader for this unit?
Well, I would say of those three, Ashawn is the most vocal leader that I think we have on the defensive side. So he's typically spot on. He just kind of just takes the temperature of the group, and he'll come to me and say, Coach, I think we need to talk about this, or he'll say, hey, do you mind if I say something, So just a guy who's just aware of his teammates, aware of the state of the group. And he's played on some really good defenses, and so I think he knows what it feels like and what it takes to play really good defensive football. And when it doesn't feel like that, his senses kind of go up, and he's the one that will address the group more often than most guys.
Hunter Renfro is still sidelined. Do you have an injury update? Do you expect him to be back tomorrow?
He's doing great. He's in return to play right now with our training department. He's running. He's cutting. I think it's just the load of practice that we're just trying to be smart on and making sure that we get him completely healthy so we can really see him in these games. And I feel really strongly that he's there, but I think it's more of a capacity thing. We just don't want to take him through a full day's work, throw him into team settings, and just forget about the fact that we had something come up. So, but he's doing great right now.
Expect him to play Saturday, or you still haven't made that decision?
We have not made the decision. I think we need to get through we need to have this practice tomorrow so that we can kind of regroup and see where our group is at on both sides to anticipate who's playing and how much.
What about Nick Scorton?
Nick is pretty much in the same boat. Both guys turned around in about 2 or 3 days, but I think anytime you have a soft tissue injury, we're just really apprehensive to just throw them back out there without 5 to 7 days, of strengthening and really trying to get some of that high intensity exposure outside of a competitive environment, because you can control it. They can be thinking about it. When you go out there and you're just playing ball, and all of a sudden you just forget about whatever's happening. And so kind of in the same boat.
And you were asked about Lathan earlier. Yeah. Had a great practice. What stuck out to you about him today?
Just being where he's supposed to be. I think one thing that I'm noticing about him is he always seems to be in great position to make a play. So, and that comes with study. That comes with being disciplined about owning your leverage. Analyzing the formation, run pass, and then putting yourselves in an athletic position to make plays. And I couldn't be happier with where he's at and where he's headed.
There was a lot of discussion about the Panthers are considering bringing a safety here, a veteran safety. Are you guys pretty content with how the safety room is shaking out so far?
I love the competition that's happening in there. We're always going to be evaluating who's out there, whether it's free agents, whether it's players on other teams. Our scouting department is watching all other 31 teams through the preseason so that we can, because we have to compare. We have to look at our roster and see where people stack up, but then we have to stack all those guys up to other people on other rosters and really try to challenge it from every angle possible. So, so we'll be just kind of staying track of everybody who's out there.
What did you guys see in Ransom when you brought him in? I mean, he seems to make a play in the last two, especially practices, a couple of picks.
Like coming in, the reason we drafted him is his play style. The fact that he's a leader on a national championship team, there was just a lot we learned about him as a man, and just trying to bring those people with talent but also character, and he fit the mold of what we're looking for. And then, just when you bring a rookie in, it's just a matter of how quickly can they learn your schemes, how quickly can you depend on them to do right, to be where they're supposed to be.
What specific things does Derek Brown allow you to do now that you got him back after missing a whole year?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's the relentless effort, the relentless pursuit. When Dan and I think about people, the players that we want to have here forever, essentially would be the ones who have that talent, but then play the right way, that we're proud to say, this is a Panther, and I think that's the first thing, when you think about the healthy Derek Brown. When I was coaching against him in Tampa for those 2 times. It's like backside of a run, front side of a run, short pass, down the field pass. He's showing up. He comes into the picture, into the camera frame every play, and so I think that's probably the greatest thing he brings to our. If Derek Brown is doing it, everybody has to do it. Everybody's running, everybody's chasing. You don't get plays off. And it's a standard that he helps to uphold. And then on top of that, he's such a dominant player inside. He can play all across the front. He can play in the inside eye of a tackle. He can play on the edge of a guard. He can play over the center, and in certain types of situations, he can play over a tight end with the backer outside of him. He gives us a lot of flexibility because he kind of gives you a focal point of your line where this part's immovable, this part's a problem, and then it makes offenses. I've been on the other side of it. It's like, okay, guys, we want to double him on the front side or back side, and kind of like, well, if it's front side, he blows the play up. If it's backside, he chases everything down. So you're kind you just have to live with one or the other. So he creates those problems for opponents.
Hey, hold on 1 second. We'll take one more. We'll take 3 more. We got Austin right here, so we'll take a couple more questions.
Hey, Jared Crumley got injured in the exhibition opener last year. How far did it set him back, and what are you seeing from him this training camp?
Oh, he's been doing a great job all spring and certainly into camp. I think he's he hadn't played in our scheme with our types of techniques, and I think Todd Wash has done a great job of just continuing to get his pad level down, get detailed with his hand placement, learning how to play doubles, and he's just taking to it, and he's had some good days, some bad days, but he keeps getting better. He keeps improving.
Is there any scenario in which you would reward J.J. Jensen with a quarterback series or snap in the preseason?
Absolutely not.
Will you rest any veterans tomorrow?
I got to look at the kind of the oscillation. We tried to limit guys' reps today so they could be out there tomorrow. I wouldn't anticipate Derek Brown going tomorrow. Just he practiced today some, but he's kind of working through that rib deal. So I don't know about getting him out there when he's going to start throwing people around and really torquing that. Yeah, it's just kind of a like bruised whatever. But his knee feels great. That's the best part of it. But I think just being smart about that, and then we'll regroup and see how we came out of today's practice. But this is a great opportunity. These joint practices are really valuable.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You should.
Do you wear gloves when it's raining like this?
No. Fortunately, I have very large hands too, so doesn't make too big of a deal.
So not a problem. You've never experienced any kind of issue like that?
My expertise at, center and all 5 games that I have under my belt. But no, it's never been an issue. I just take them off. Or tape up the fingers, it'd be fine.
How's the rotation going with you and Cade, and what are you kind of learning about each other? I mean, obviously you've been together for 3 years, but what are you guys learning about each other having to do this kind of a second time around?
Oh, I think it's been really good. We have a very good relationship, and we understand it's for the betterment of the team, and we understand ultimately it's going to help us personally of being able to rotate in with multiple different groups with the defense as well, and so we're able to see a lot of different looks, different body types, different personnel when we're out there, and so we know that we're getting a lot of looks, and we just got to take advantage of that and build that communication with Bryce and Andy, and so it's been a really good camp so far.
I know you brought up the lack of in-game experience at center, but obviously everybody knows you did stuff in the preseason and practice and stuff like that. Where does snapping fall in line of things that are maybe the most complicated part of center?
Least, it's just kind of what you do. Don't really think about it. It's get it back there, whether it's in the gun or under center. It's kind of your body just does it. you really don't think about it. Like, there's a lot more other things going on to where if you're worried about that part of it and getting that snap, the 360-pound individual in front of you is going to make life a lot harder. So, the snap part of it is pretty easy.
Austin, how are the field conditions today, and any concerns about that with more weather tomorrow and the Browns coming?
Oh, no, it's actually very impressive of how well the field's handled all the water that we got with all this rain. Wasn't puddling up or anything. Grip was fine. We'll see how long it keeps raining today, and just telling some of my Cleveland buddies, just pack your umbrella.
How many connections do you still have from Cleveland? I mean, it's still kind of an exciting thing to face.
I want to say from my time there, at Miles, Njoku, Joel, Wyatt, there might be one or two other players-wise that, and then staff-wise, coaches, I don't think any, maybe some equipment, maybe some, athletic trainers, but kind of just, you never really know in this league who sticks around, who's moving around, and so it'd be excited to see a bunch of those guys, and, a team that drafted me, it's fun, and so excited.
Dave said something earlier about the joint practice. He said he wanted leaders of both teams to kind of get together, go over the rules of engagement. What do you look for in those practices, and what kind of points do guys try to stress to each other?
Ultimately, just being smart. We're here to get work against another opponent. We're going to see completely different schemes on the defensive side of the ball. And so just to get that good, clean work and not make it such a personal attack on each other. I think these practices have that ability to kind of get out of hand like that, where it's just ego versus ego and who's the bigger man and who can step up, and we're not playing football at that point. And so trying to keep it about the ball, just make it clean, crisp, and ultimately the game's on Friday, and that's what we're trying to get to.
Have you watched any of Mason Graham at all?
No, I have not. It's got no film in the preseason so far, so it's right. So no.
They decided to play starters in the preseason game where last year he didn't in the first couple.
His adjustment on the fly, right? You go from the first year learning from that to, okay, how can we kind of improve to be able to hit the ground running earlier in the season? And I think that's his mentality right now of like, hey, we need to lock in to find our processes. How are we going to get ready? What's your process going to be? How are you going to handle the in-game situation? And that way when week one rolls around in Jacksonville, we're ready to go.
And how would you compare the intensity and the competition between offense and defense this training camp to previous seasons you've been here?
Yeah, it definitely feels like we're definitely getting after it pretty good this year. I don't know if that's the no fans being out there, so the kind of mood is definitely more intense, right? It's more about the ball, and you don't get those big reactions out of the fans with plays, kind of lighten the mood and have fun there. Or it's just, I think it's a combination of that and really just kind of the offensive line obviously staying the same, right? But the guys that we brought in on the D-line just raising that standard. And so it's just been back and forth this entire camp and just continually raising that standard and that level of competition. And it's been awesome.
Austin, there was improvement on the offensive line last year, brought in some guys. Have you guys talked about any type of goals as a unit that you guys want to accomplish this year?
No, I mean, nothing, particular goals-wise. Is just we understand, kind of how the year ended and that momentum that we gained, but ultimately that doesn't mean anything for this year, right? We got to be able to come out and just foot to the floorboard, hit the gas, and go. And we can't wait. We got to hit the jump, and we got to be the backbone of this team, and we understand that. And whatever five's in there, it doesn't matter. There can't be any sort of drop. We got to elevate this team, and that's the responsibility that we accept, that we want, and we look forward to.
Austin, so many players get so excited when it comes to joint practices. From a player's perspective, I see the smile on your face. Describe the value of a joint practice and how fun it is.
It's awesome, especially kind of the longer you're in this league, right? You're able to see a lot of your just buddies from just rotating around different places, and it's fun. It's a team that drafted me coming back in. It's really cool. But there's that fine line of I get to go see a new opponent, a different play style, a different scheme. Okay, how can I take advantage of that and get my work in? To how do we make sure we don't cross that line where it just turns into just a brawl, a bloodbath in nonsense that doesn't actually make us better at football. And so it just takes that veteran leadership like Dave's been talking about to make sure that we control that, to make sure that we are just here to play football. We're here to get better, to challenge each other, to raise that competition level, and enjoy it without crossing that line.
Awesome. Following up on what David asked you, the change in playing the starters in the preseason, I'm just curious, is that something that, did Dave get any input from you guys? Like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And, after last year's kind of slow start?
Not on my end that I have heard anything or from any other player. I think it's just him growing into his role as second-year head coach and just kind of setting the standard for this team and just being open and honest and clear in his communication where it's like, I've been on part of teams where you kind of walk in on that first preseason game like, all right, am I playing? Am I not playing? And so just being straight up front. So, again, it's that game preparation week of just how do you set your routine for a week? How do you go about your mentals to get ready to play a game? How do you get dressed? How do you warm up? Do everything. And so making sure we're getting a couple looks at that, playing those couple preseason games and, getting one at home, one on the road. So, developing those routines, and that's exactly what he's about because he tells us, he's like, when we come to Jacksonville week 1, we are going. And so just doing everything we can to make sure that that's what we're doing.
Is the expectation it'll be just a series or two for the starters?
Yeah, I think you'll play it just kind of like Buffalo last year, right? Kind of see how the series goes from there. If it's positive, good. And if you need a little more work, then you get a little more work. Thank you. Appreciate it, y'all.
Was saying that when he was in Seattle, a lot of times when it's kind of misty rain, guys like to wear gloves. You don't. What kind of led to your decision on that equipment?
To me, it's kind of like it's a feel thing. So if it's raining, like today was raining hard, so it really ain't no point of putting gloves on. But if it's kind of like that Seattle rain, you can kind of get away with gloves. But not the regular ones, the rain gloves. Yeah.
Mike, we saw Lathan Ransom make quite a few plays today. What have you noticed about the rookie so far, and how has he kind of immersed himself in the room?
Oh, he's just being him. Like, he came in, I told him, like, bro, just be you. They brought you here for a reason. He doing that.
Do you like practicing with your brother?
I was in Seattle, so you got to get used to it. Yeah.
It's a different kind of rain, though, right?
It's rain is rain. You're going to be wet regardless. So, it's cool.
How eager are you to take part in joint practices and maybe face a different look?
It's fun because it gets you ready for Sunday. So it's like they're coming in here, and that's the closest thing you can get to a real game in this time period. So it's going to be fun.
I know you got here a little late in training camp last year and didn't really get to go up against Deontay a lot, but how can he and Jerry Jeudy kind of give you and JC and the rest of the corners good looks in practice?
They're good receivers. They're good receivers and they're South Florida receivers, so they always going to put a little extra on their routes, and that's kind of fun because I feel like that's a rare game rep when you get to go against those guys, so I'm looking forward to it.
You have played it's seemingly you and JC, a lot of press on McMillan this summer. How do you think he's responded? And that was kind of one of the knocks on him coming out.
He listens. I tell him, bro, you're not looking at this, and so I might have said it last week, and this week he's doing it. So it's like he's listening to what we're telling him, and he's not coming in like the big head. He's just coming in ready to work, and I like that.
He does a really good job of kind of not bullying, but getting above smaller corners, and you and JC are two of bigger tandem corners in the league. How can that make him better?
It's rare because chances are he's not going to see us on Sunday. Most teams have one big corner and one small corner, so it's rare to see two corners 210 plus. Yeah.
How's your health? How's your foot?
My foot good. It was my toe, but I'm good. Yeah.
I asked this to Austin earlier. The competition seems to be quite intense this summer. Is that kind of what you're seeing as well between the offense and the defense and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I can't really. It's not for me. It's not much for me really to go off for because I wasn't here last year. So, but yeah, I feel like we out there competing and just having fun playing football.
And it's always intense.
Yeah.
What do you think about the physicality on the back end of the secondary this summer?
I feel like we're a physical group. We play off each other. We listen to each other, and we compete within each other. Like, so who can get the most picks? Who can play the smartest out there? So when you have a group like that, you always gonna make plays together.
Who has the most right now?
Can't tell you that.
Is there money involved?
Can't tell you that either.
They might tell us something about Ransom that we don't know.
Oh, I can't tell y'all that. But yeah, no, I'm playing. He let's see what you don't know. He's just a dog, like, but he's smart. Like if I tell him something out there, he'll listen, and he doesn't always like go strictly by the book. It's kind of like he plays football. So that's rare to find in a rookie, because normally a rookie be like, well, I'm supposed to do this. But it's like they giving us this look, like we can play the play. And he was doing that in OTAs, which that's rare to see. Normally you don't get a rookie start doing that till like middle of the season. So that's kind of cool.
He seems kind of like in the Shaw Smith-Wade kind of mold, is that he's really smart and has really good instincts.
Yeah.
What are you seeing from Shaw kind of in the second year as he kind of gets used to playing nickel long term?
He just came in like balling. Like I think he had the most picks in OTAs, and then same in training camp. So Shaw just came in and basically just played his role. You know, he comes to work every day. He doesn't try to overdo it, but also like he takes control at the nickel, which I love.
Have the rookies done their time with Shaw yet?
The offensive rookies did.
How'd it go?
Man, it was all right. It was all right. They could have did better.
They do it as a group, or did they? What's
So
the
it was
format?
like, it started out a group, then you went individual. It was just like, they just got it easy. Like, I'm like, bro, y'all got to go every day. Like, give us some entertainment. It's training camp. We ain't got no fans. Like, y'all are entertainment.
Who's the best?
I ain't gonna lie, T-Mac smart. T-Mac got up and sung gospel. You can't boo God. So that was smart. That was smart. I told him, I'm like, bro, I wish I would have did that. That was smart.
Jimmy post something where he was taking guitar lessons from somebody.
Probably. Jimmy one of a kind, man. Like, Jimmy gon' flip, sing, dance. It don't matter. Like, yeah.
Wait, he's a Tumblr?
Jimmy can do everything. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
Pretty good day for you. Get the sack, get the pick, get another pass breakup. It seemed like you just felt at ease in the rain. Like what was special about today, I guess?
Yeah, I think just, the DBs just brought a lot of energy today between, JC, Mike, Damani, Trey, all of them. Nick brought a bunch of energy today, just letting us know that, it don't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing, we got to go out there and show up. So I just put it on to the older guys, just, they just trickled down and had a good effect on us.
Dave said that Ashawn, Derek, and JC kind of rallied you guys before practice. What was like the sentiment that they gave to you about this practice and why you guys needed to kind of challenge each other a little bit?
Yeah, I think just knowing that, there's going to be different weather throughout, the season that we're going to have to plan, and we can't let that affect our game, can't let that affect our focus. So I think just going out there, playing with, a bunch of energy, a big chip on our shoulder, I think that's why the defense was able to fly around and play on fire today.
In college, you played, you were a full-time starter and played like a key role in special teams. We obviously saw what happened at FanFest. Do you envision, even if you have a major role on defense, that you're going to be a huge part of the special teams group too?
Yeah, luckily, being at Ohio State, they preached how important special teams were. So knowing that, learning from them, and then coming here, special teams is just as important as any other role on this team. So, whatever role and opportunity I get, I'm going to, face it head on and do everything I can to do it to the best of my ability.
Getting that fake,
Go ahead.
Getting that fake punt throw, was that something you rallied for? Did you ask for it? Or did Coach just tell you?
Coach came up to me like right before we're doing warm-ups and stuff and kind of like asked me for that, like, let me see your eyes, kind of asking for my confidence level. He's like, I'm going to throw you a ball. And, as a defensive player, all you want is the ball in your hand. So I couldn't wait. So that's all. It's funny is the game's going on. I'm just thinking about it. It's like, I got to catch the ball. Just make sure I catch the ball and then, take it back, to the high school days.
Was that the first time that had been a conversation? Like, had y'all repped that?
Yeah, we did not. We just went over that. We never repped it. Just he threw it in that day and it worked out.
Got you, though.
He did. Jimmy fast. I mean, he had the angle. But Jimmy made a great tackle. And it was funny because when I went out there, I'm looking, I see we're at like the 10, and I'm like, man, I hope he calls it next because it's like 90 yards so far. And I just came off the defensive drive, but, Jimmy made a good tackle, but I was definitely tired.
Mike was talking about how smart you are and how you really take the feedback from the veterans. Can you talk about what you've gotten from them and how their input has helped your growth during this training camp process?
Yeah, between, Mike, Trey, JC, Nick, all older guys, especially Damani too. I'm just trying to be a sponge. I mean, they've guys that have played, have reps, guys I can just learn from. So I'm doing everything I can to learn from them, pick their brain, ask as many questions as I can because, when I go out there and with them, they depend on me. So it don't matter if you're a rookie, if it's your first year or whatever, like you're held to the standard that they're held to. So when I go out there, I just, ask many questions. So when I'm out there, I'm not a weakling. I'm out there making the checks just as confident as the other guys.
Lathan, you're known as hard-hitting safety. Are you excited to hit another team tomorrow and then this weekend?
Yeah, I think, anytime you get on the field, you get your pads on, and you get an opportunity to, go out there and hit and show your physicality. So, yeah, I'm excited, to go out there and play against another team. And I'm excited to see, what our team looks like and have great energy tomorrow and, for the rest of this week.
On that note, Canales said Saturday he told you the difference between getting mail from the league and not getting mail from the league. Yeah. What was that conversation like?
Just understanding just how to play the right way. Obviously, when we go out there, I'm a physical player, and Coach, he wants there to be physicality, but just at the end of the day, keep our teammates safe, keep myself safe. So, he's just going out there for the betterment of me and the team.
There was the refs are in town this week. Has there been any discussion with them on points of emphasis, and kind of the things you were just referring to? Not your team.
Yeah, no, I just think that, at the end of the day, we're going to play fast, play physical, and, play our game. But, we can't have, little penalties that, affect the game, and we got to play smart. But at the end of the day, we're going to play Panther football, and that's going to be physical.
I feel like we might have asked you this on draft night, so my apologies. But Mike Jack just called you a dog. What does that look like in your mind? What's the definition of a dog?
Definition of a dog. I think, being from, Tucson, Arizona, it's a smaller town, so I come with a chip on my shoulder. Even though I have a lot of energy, I joke around a lot, but, when the pads come on, a different person comes out. So that's just a person that, oozes physicality and, just goes out there and just plays with a chip on his shoulder. That's the only way I can describe it.
Have you and T-Mac reminisced on Tucson, like best food spots, like anything like that?
Yeah, we talked about Tucson a little bit. It's funny, some of the guys like Gunnar Maldonado, a dude that, is from Arizona, went to U of A, just some friends that we had that are similar. And, he liked Tucson and, to talk to him about it, just seeing from someone else's point of view, from someone who's been there his whole life, it was definitely, fun to talk about.
Cool. Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Thanks.